Welcome to the Nailed It Wall.
Ah! On this week's episode, we have the amazing Brittany Shear talking all things ELA. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Nailed It Wall. I'm Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
And I'm Mrs. Schofield.
Today, we have a very special guest, the one, the only, Brittany Shear.
Woo!
That's me.
All right. Tell us a little about yourself, Ms. Shear.
My name's Brittany Shear, and I teach 6th grade ELA in Peoria. And I try to incorporate as much technology into ELA as possible.
My favorite thing is that you just waved to the audience.
Hi, everybody.
You are always crushing on Twitter. You were just saying as we came in here, you're like, it's hard to really like step up and like share everything when you're an ELA teacher. So what do you do that makes you so special?
Oh, well, I've been trying to step out, so since taking the Google class with you guys, I've been trying to use technology in ELA more, and I'm trying to show the kids that what they're doing is going to have an authentic audience. So they all know about Twitter, and they go and check at night to see if what they made
Nice.
on Twitter.
Cool.
Yes, so now that they're all into it, I have to be on my game and make sure I take pictures every day of
You really
whatever
do.
it is, even if it's not the most interesting thing. But
I love
They're
that
always, like-
they're paying attention to that.
Yes.
Actually, today, I say I put things on Twitter, but somebody today was like, what do you mean you put it up? And I was like, yeah, on Twitter, we do that every day. And they're like, what? You've
They
been
wanted
tweeting?
an update.
Yeah, they wanted
an
to
update.
know. So I need to encourage them to do that. Yeah, that's awesome.
All your things are amazing. Me and Schofield are always going back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
Shear's killing it. I love what she's doing.
Totally.
Like, you're on the ball there. But the fact that your kids are like into it, your kids like want to know what's going on
They
with Twitter
really do.
now, and
Yeah.
I love that you're incorporating that with your kids, and I think that's truly amazing.
Yeah, it is.
As we start every week's episode, we always talk about how we nailed it, how we failed it. Let's start off with you, Mrs. Schofield. How have you nailed it this week?
Okay, so a true nailed it. My kids started these cell analogy projects, and when I rolled them out, it was last week when I was gone and I had a sub the whole week. So I did a screencastify to kind of explain it. I had already told them the week prior kind of a little bit about what they were going to be doing, but I didn't roll it out myself. So I was wondering what kind of quality I would get from these projects, and they came in yesterday, or they came in this week, but I started looking at them and I was completely blown away by the quality, the effort, the time that had to have gone into these things. They were so high level, and just I was really impressed. And when you ask your kids to do a project, you know, you're hoping for their best, but best is all relative. And over the years, I've seen a couple different types of effort, but this was truly the new bar. Poor kids coming after them.
They were amazing. I mean, there was a Friends one, The Office, the Bob Ross
The
one
Bob
by
Ross
James.
one. I
Like,
mean, truly, one girl did her entire friends circle and compared every organelle to a person in her circle of friends, and they could back these things up. It was just truly mind-blowing. And what I also liked was that there was some gender things that were not typical. So one of my girls did a whole thing on Avengers superheroes, and then another one did hers all on the Flash. And
That was Sophie.
Sophie did.
nailed
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Nailed it while guest.
That's right. She did hers all on the Flash. And I thought it was so cool because they really went with their interest, which was what I wanted it to be. It was something that they connected with, and they did. And it was really awesome. And then my other failed it part, I would say, come back to me at the end, because I had one and I totally lost it.
All right, Shear, have you nailed it this week?
I think one thing I did that worked out really well is we're working on personal narratives. So the kids are really excited because they're telling their own life stories. And I would read it back to them, and some of them would realize that their life story didn't come off as exciting as they thought. Like, I went to the beach, it was hot, and then I was I knew they had it in them, but they weren't giving it to me, and I didn't know what to do, so I found some resources, and they did a double external-internal map. So what they did was they plotted out the entire story. If I was just watching it happen, what would I see? And then they put their emotions, and they realized those parts that were actually really important to them and important to the story, and then they actually put them up on Flipgrid. One of my classes did so far, and they were able to hear it back, and when they told the external story, it was kind of wah-wah, and when they heard themselves telling how they felt, you could feel the emotion. So now when they put it in writing, I think they're going to realize, to put more of that internal struggle that they faced, and that's what makes it interesting for the reader. So
That's why you need to follow her on Twitter.
I agree. I concur.
Do you have a story where you missed the mark this week, or do you just have? Was that just?
I pretty much killed it the whole week. No, yesterday I went to a problem-based learning training with our gifted specialist at the district, Adam Lanningham, and I fell down a really big flight of stairs in front of all the gifted people.
Oh my gosh.
And then I just turned around and went, not gifted. So that was kind of a fail.
Nailed
but
it.
not with the kids, I don't think. Not this week.
Why were you not wearing a GoPro or something amazingly?
Well, and I was all dressed up like I didn't need to be because it was, off campus, and it was at Barry Goldwater High School, and they have a lecture hall.
Yeah.
And it was like I was at the top of the lecture hall, and then I was at the bottom.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Right in the middle with the speaker speaking and everything. But
You can tell she's an ELA teacher. She has painted that picture.
yes, that was
I
my
feel like I was
internal map.
My ankle hurts just listening to that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was amazing.
The highs and lows.
Yeah.
I've had an amazing week. I always want to start off with like the great story. Kaylin, who's a 6th grader. If you know me, I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. I grew up just wanting to be in the NBA. I just designed sneakers all the time. I would just draw sneakers all the time. I love to collect sneakers. I didn't have a lot of money, but I still love to collect sneakers today. And she made me this amazing, she called this the Lane loafer. Actually, I just made that up. But it's a 3D pen, and it says Lane on it. It reminds me very much of a Space Jam. Kind of like these
Totally.
like sneakers there, and it just like made my day. It's just like those little gifts that you get from kids that mean so much to you, and I was just smiling the whole day. I completely forgot to get a picture of her. Hopefully I'll get a picture of her tonight at the birthday party, but I was just, those little things that just mean so much to you as a teacher and a person. And I was like, you took the time to do this, and as a 6th grader gave that to me in the middle of class, and so many stories, but that was just like one story that just meant so much to me. Where I missed the mark a little bit, I'm somebody that never answers a call from a stranger. I yell at you for always answering these random calls, people trying to buy your house. For some reason, it caught me off guard. I got a call and it said Apple Computers Inc. And it had like a little picture from Cupertino, and I just answered it.
He's like, Google wants me.
I'm like, I'll come work for you. I pick up this call, and the guy on the other end, and he's saying, your account's been breached. Don't log into your account. Someone's logged in San Diego and Akron. And I'm on this call, and I'm like, what's my name? And he couldn't give it to me. So word to self, if you see a call come in from Apple Computers and it's in your contacts, do not pick that up. It's a scam. I was on the call far too long, and before I even asked that question.
Wow, that is.
And I was like, I don't even buy the insurance. I bought a soccer ball at Dick's the other day, and they were like, do you want to buy the insurance? I was like, I never buy the insurance. I never buy the extra insurance. I trust no one. And I fell for this.
No, he trusts no one. We went to the CSTA conference, and they were scanning our badges, and I was shocked that he was just allowing them to scan
And I regret
them.
that too.
And I said,
it took you to like.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I guess this is pretty chill because he's just going with it. And I said, you're just letting them do that. It's all your contact. He was like, oh, God.
And then I put a sticker on it the rest of the day.
Yeah, he did. He
I
stickered
was
it
pretty
up.
upset about that.
I know what my failed it was. I remember now. And it's thanks to you sending all of these kids from your STEM class into my class. I always have what you need in your class. Like, I have so many supplies in my class, random stuff. And this week, every time, except for today, they asked for something that I actually had today. I don't remember what it was. But balsa wood, yes. And you knew that I had balsa wood. So every time they came in, it was like nuts and bolts, washers, tubing, and I felt like such a failure. And I was like, I need to up my game and what my supplies are. I don't know when I'll need those, but I need to have them just in case. So that was my failed it.
Well, it doesn't top Shears, but
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's a tough act to follow.
This reminded me about a future nailed it that I'm going to have. So the Phoenix Mercury, our WNBA team, I'm a big fan, and I'm the girls basketball coach at my school.
Nice.
And they had Women of Inspiration night, and all the players picked a woman that inspired them, and they like got their shoes like customs.
Yeah,
so all the players had like their own. So some were their mom, or some were people in politics or sports. So I want to do that with our basketball team this year.
Oh, nice.
Or even if they just like tape on a just to have that kind of thing, because I think it's so important with girls sports and promoting. I know you're a dance dad.
Yeah.
and just
That is so
getting
cool.
that out there for our school. And that reminded me of that, because when I saw they were posting on Instagram, I was waiting, like, when is the next, like, Diana Taurasi shoes, like, when are they going to post? So
Diana Taurasi.
Yeah,
if
so
you're
that'll
listening,
be on
Diana.
Twitter.
But that would be so cool to
Yes,
figure out, like,
come on to the Nailed It wall, Diana. You're on my shirt right now. I'm your number one fan.
She legit is wearing your shirt.
my daughter loves the Mercury, and that was so cool on Twitter when they were like posting those shoes
Yes,
and like
I
the
was
artwork.
waiting.
And
My dad went to UConn, so I've been like,
nice.
I lived in New Jersey, and we went to all the UConn games, and then I moved here, and it's just, we're meant to.
that is,
I'm meant to be her.
I think you might be best friends. She just doesn't know it
She doesn't
yet.
know it yet.
Yeah, she
We
doesn't
met
know it yet. Yeah.
that is so cool. So how do you end up? You go from living in Connecticut, and I'm from Maine, so I didn't even know that you were a fellow New Englander. So
No, I'm actually from New Jersey.
okay.
So
the other side.
She's like, and it's over.
End of podcast.
Yeah.
So I grew up in New Jersey, and I went to college there. I went to Rider University, and I got my degree in English. And then all my dad's fears came true, and there's nothing you can do with an English degree that I wanted to do. So I wanted to get into teaching, and I knew my parents were going to retire out here, so I call it pre-retired. I
Yeah.
came out here in anticipation of them coming out here.
Well played.
Yeah. So then I knew I just failed it, guys, because I just
She almost fell out of the Google chair.
I almost did a Brian.
She just grabbed the desk and almost ripped the
Got
whole
real excited about New
the whole
Jersey.
studio up.
So I tell all my students I talk fast and loud because I'm from New Jersey, and just tell me if I need to calm down. So then I went to ASU out here, and I got my master's in education, and then and that was actually, it was ASU in Deer Valley. So I've been in Deer Valley through student teaching, and
Oh, nice.
so yeah.
That's amazing. I went with that I Teach program in Deer
Yep,
Valley with
that's what I
Dr.
did.
Tunis. How long have you been a teacher?
This is my 6th year in 6th grade.
6th year in 6th grade. Now, what do you love about teaching?
I love everything about it, really. I love 6th graders, which is why I've never left them. I think they're like the funniest age, because they think that some of them think that they're like in 12th grade, and some of them think that they're like in 1st grade. So you put it all together, and it's pretty funny. I love ELA, and I know a lot of kids don't come in with ELA as their favorite subject, so I try really hard to help them see how they, really the advantage of ELA is you can incorporate all subjects, because you kind of can pick and choose what you're going to read and write. So I like to feel like with the WNBA Women of Inspiration shoes, I like pulled in an article about that and had them choose,
That's awesome.
their own. So I like that. I like that aspect that you.
Now, at
have
the
some
end of the
flexibility.
year, is ELA their favorite subject because of you?
Some of them yes, some of them no.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them away from that thinking, like, I know this is a big thing in the math community, not saying I'm not a math person, I'm an ELA, or I'm not an ELA
True.
person, I'm a math person.
They have those preconceived notions.
So I try
hear
to get
that
them
a lot
away
for
from
them.
that, because I have a lot of kids who are like, I'm just a math person, and
Yeah.
and I used to say I'm not a math person, and I've gotten away from that. And my coworker does a flipped classroom for math. She's amazing, Carolyn Rogers, and I watched the videos, and I was learning along with the kids, because I was like, there are some gaps I have, because I grew up saying I'm a reading person, not a math person. So
Now, when you went into your major, what was your heart set on? Did you want to be a writer? Did you want so you just had your heart set on being a writer?
yeah, I wanted to be a writer, and I still realize I can do that. So I do a lot of writing in my free time. But yes, I'm
free time?
I mean, I write in my brain as I'm
Yeah,
driving
yeah,
here.
yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really wanted to write because I loved reading. So I just saw, and I think that's something important for kids to see, that all the things you enjoy that other people do, you can do that someday. So, and I think this way I get to inspire people that way. I try to. And I do a lot of writing with the kids, so they see, I use my writing as mentor text for them. And I was having a problem with this last night. How can I reword this? So, and I think that's good for them, that they're getting authentic.
That's so cool.
Writing partner in me.
Have you had anything published?
No.
No. Now, what would your pen name be?
Oh gosh. Well, like back in the AOL Instant Messenger days, it was like
Love it.
sheer happiness. Like,
Yes, sheer happiness.
so I feel like I wouldn't have a pen name, because I just like, my last name is so, like when I got married, I didn't change it, because I was like, my last name's cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want your last name.
You're like hashtag respect
Sorry,
sheer
Logan.
happiness.
Yeah, sorry, Logan. But yeah, and my sister's was something like that too. So
Yeah.
So I think I just, maybe like you guys just call me Sheer, maybe just Sheer, like Madonna,
I like
Beyonce.
I just like
Prince.
that first
The
name.
one name,
Yeah.
Rihanna.
Why don't you just be a symbol?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what
Seriously.
it would be, but yeah.
I could work something out.
Scophia, what would your pen name be?
I have no idea. Not sure. Maybe it would be something related to Moxie, though, I would guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I'd have to think that. I won't want to throw something out there and then have regret that it's on the pod.
Yeah, totally. Well, I love
it's famous.
I love that I can throw a curveball at you and you knocked it out of the park there.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that story. I think that's so cool that that you wanted to be a writer, and you kind of see, like, I was talking to the kids. I mean, our students here, the older kids, they love The Office, and I'm like, just isn't it brilliant writing?
Yes.
And then they step away. They're like, huh?
I
Is he
think
talking about
now
the writing?
writing is cool because, like, you have like Mindy Kaling. Like, there are certain writers that the kids actually know because they also put their face to things,
Yeah.
and they're so into that.
There's
So I
just
think-
so much, like, and like how education's changed, like, scientists, kids know Elon Musk, they know, like, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, like, so much of that they know.
I also think now, like, nerds are cool. Like, when I see kids not wearing their glasses, I'm like,
Yeah.
look at me, glasses are awesome. And they're like, oh yeah,
My main man Ryan's in the back nodding his
Yeah.
head. There's our audience. He's like he just gave
right.
he just gave you the air five.
Yep.
Now, who are some writers that you really looked up to?
Oh gosh, I was really into. I just bought this book actually. That's like all the cheesy like YA from the '90s that I was reading.
Yeah.
I was really into Harry Potter, obviously. So all the Harry Potter books. I was like Laurie Halse Anderson, and then there were just there'd just be like one or two here and there. And then I was a literature major in college, so I was really into actually like Black American literature and just like cultural literature from different places. That was really interesting
That's
to
cool.
me. And
Now, have you ever found yourself, like, there's some pretty amazing writers that live here in the Valley. Have you ever found yourself, like, just driving by their house or, like, stalking, like, their open, like...
I've thought about that. No, I will see, like, reality stars, like, they'll be in Arizona, and I'm like, I could probably find them, but I won't. No, but there's an author, Paul Mosier, and I really wanted him to come talk to my class, and he wrote Echo's sister and Train I Ride, and my husband's last name's Mosier, so now I've been in with him through Twitter, and he's like,
nice.
I'll come anytime. So
Wow,
I
that's
have to get
cool.
my kids to read that book first, just because I want them to have questions. And so yeah, but there are a lot. I didn't think, from coming from New Jersey, I thought I was like in the cultural like wonderland, like I can go to Philadelphia, I can go to New York.
Yeah.
And here I was like not sure. I didn't really fall into my niche of what to do here or what was going on, but there's a lot of stuff like downtown and writers workshops and
Ton.
all
so
kinds
cool.
of stuff. Yeah.
Now, what kind of, what's your genre that you love to write in?
I like writing. Ever since I became a teacher, now I'm more into like the middle grade because there isn't a lot of good quality middle grade. There's a lot of YA. So in 6th grade, like a lot of them aren't allowed to check out YA. So they're not allowed to check out, like, I know when I was a kid, like Twilight, they wouldn't be allowed to check those out, you know, from the school. So there's like a very small thin line between like what they're interested in and what they're allowed, you know, they want to
Yeah.
toe the line.
Yes.
So I'm very interested in that middle grade category, which is like 5th and 6th grade, just before 7th when they're into the YA.
Well, we can look back and say we knew
We
sheer
knew her
happiness
Yes,
like before.
back in the day.
Well, I love that. I think that's like so amazing, like how you inspire. I mean, your kids, they love to read. Your family, you guys are always listening to audiobooks, and
They love audiobooks.
It's such a big part of your life. Now, what do you get most excited? Like, what book series do you get most excited to introduce these kids to?
So for a while it was The Lightning Thief, but now I'm glad they are, but they're reading it earlier because it used to be the cool new thing,
Yeah.
like the Percy Jackson, because our social studies curriculum does Greece, so we would do like the Greek mythology with Greece, and that would be fun because I'd do room transformations. So I'd make the room camp Half-Blood, and they'd be in their little, you know, the little factions, and they go against each
Gosh, so
other.
fun.
And
I want to
now
be in your class
I
right
know.
now.
I do too.
come on over.
I love ELA.
Yeah, but now I'm doing more of a workshop model where kids read at their own independent level, so they're all reading something different, but within certain genres, so they can talk about it.
Differentiation.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Hashtag.
You need like a
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
This code word.
Yeah.
So, but what I love about that is now I'm learning about all of these books from them that they're choosing, which is really cool.
That's awesome. I love that. I love how passionate you are, like sharing those stories. We never really talked about like how we met Sheer. Last year we taught the Google Level 1, and it was like midway through the third quarter, and we were so excited. Like, we got enough people to sign up for this class. We love teaching people technology, these googly things, and get their Google on. And so we just like loved you being in the class. Like,
my
we were
gosh,
always like,
so
are we pushing her? We could never like really get a feel for you. We're like, is she getting anything from this? And every time you go back, you're like, I'm doing this in my class, and
Like right away.
yeah, like
right
the next
away.
day.
Yeah.
It was
so
awesome.
Cool.
It was like the only PD. I think I put this in your like review.
We
for
literally
Google Forms.
used your
It
quote.
was like the
actually.
only PD that like I would want to like get in my car after school for like hour and a half or however long and like drive. I was so excited always to come, and it was
Aw.
really fun. And then I never got level 2 because they didn't teach it yet.
I know we gotta get on
We
that.
wanna-
Like,
we want to do
We'll,
level
we'll have to get on that.
Yeah.
I know, and it was like so cool. I mean,
I don't want to take my chances.
we just loved it, but like so much we love Google. Like, we love everything about it, and we introduced the class to Flipgrid. We're like, do you guys know what Flipgrid is? And it's all about student voice. And you took it back the next day, and you had an epic Flipgrid that one of
Yeah.
your students gave, and you came back and shared that with everyone. It was awesome. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so I was doing, like I said, the kids read books, their own books that they're choosing at their own level, and this child did choose a YA book. But I was realizing I was taking so much time because I was meeting with every kid, which is important, but I was doing it a lot, like every kid 3 times a week, new book, So I went back and I had them do their book talks on Flipgrid, which a lot of them really embraced, and they would be doing it in all different places at their house, at Wet n Wild, like wherever. I was trying to
On
figure
the
out.
Mammoth.
I was trying to figure out like where they were, on a plane. And this one student, she read a YA book, so it was really funny her describing it because to her the whole book was pretty gross. So she would be making these faces. Her dog would come up and lick her, and she would just be like, they were making out, ew. Like everything was ew, and then she kept saying, and basically they were doing this, and basically it was disgusting, and then she's like, I keep saying basically, I'm so sorry. She's like having a meltdown, and then she'd keep going.
She had like 36 cuts. Like, it was
Yeah.
like we needed like the director's
Yes,
cut. It was
yes,
awesome.
yes. She
And,
was doing like she like would just like space bar it every 5 seconds, so she'd have a cut, and it was really funny, and it was good because her personality, she was not like one to be that expressive in person, so it was really funny and cool to see her like that.
And I loved like when you brought it back, like one student said to you like, why didn't you go to this class earlier?
Yes,
And,
yes, that
like,
was their big thing. They
one
were
of
like, we've been meeting with you at your little table, and no offense, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like when we started doing Flipgrid, it's always those things where you're like, oh, I wish I would have known about this earlier. And then like Screencastify is another one that we just use so much. But it's one of those things that until you start using it, then you don't realize like, oh my gosh, this is so much better for
Right.
all of us.
Well, and for me, I was always thinking like this is mostly for science or like STEM, and it was hard for me to picture like how will these things work into ELA. But because if you just read about them online, it's not. But when you see how you guys use them, and then you can start processing how can this work for ELA, and it really puts the engagement higher, especially for those kids that ELA is not their thing, but like tech is their thing. So now they want to. Be successful.
It's funny that you say that you picture it for like science or certain subjects because for me, when I first saw it, I didn't really use it that much because I always thought of it more as younger kids because when you work with middle school kids, especially the girls, a lot of times they're like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. But there's something about Flipgrid that I think that they somewhat forget about it too. And then it also gives them the option of, they don't always have to be in the camera shot. You know, there's a variety of ways.
Creative.
Yeah, but I'm noticing it's starting to kind of desensitize my kids in a good way about being camera, not kind of getting past that because we're going to use it a lot more this year. And so now they just are kind of like, all right, a Flipgrid video, and they just know that's the expectation.
And I'm loving their new features that they have because
Yeah.
I was having the kids like open it up to the page and then zoom. Like there's no way to really zoom. It's like put the page as close to the camera as possible. It's like, and then it's too close.
Yeah.
And now you can do like almost like a little screenshot picture in the corner or stuff like that.
Well, and
I'm
the
like,
AR stuff that
Yes,
they
yeah,
introduced
that's
is
really
so cool. Is there anything else that you've seen that you are kind of thinking like this year I want to try this? Have you seen anything?
I've been doing a lot with Classroom, so I was using things, but I wasn't really fully using Classroom to the highest that I could have been. So like today, and it makes your life really a lot easier as a teacher because everything's together I can grade from anywhere. I'm not, because I'm like always carrying a pile of essays and stuff. I want to, I don't know, there's a lot of things I want to try. Every time I go on Twitter, there's something new, and I'm like, whew, I need to like calm down, write all this down. And I'll even just like the add-ons to Chrome and
my
to
gosh,
Docs
there's so
and
much.
it's
It's amazing. Talk a little bit about what you use Flipgrid for this week. I love what your 8th graders did with Flipgrid.
So we were trying to do the cell cycle, and it's very obscure, right? Because it's, they can't see the cell dividing through a microscope, whatever. They can look at cells, but they really can't see that whole process. And so we kind of broke it down, and we used the AR, we used the merge cubes, which is huge and awesome, and I love it. But then from that, then they had to kind of go in and take a cell and create all the different steps of mitosis with Play-Doh, though. And then they had to go on Flipgrid.
8th graders
and
with Play-Doh, and they loved it. They were amazing.
8th graders.
I was blown away.
I find stuff
Play-Doh.
that like you think is for little kids, it has a re-uppance, like when you get them.
Well, that's what it is that all of a sudden they'll say, like, even, your daughter, how she was saying, well, now in 3rd grade, we don't color. What's she saying?
Yeah,
we don't get to color a lot. And so, 8th graders like to do all these things that they used to be able to do more often, and they have so much buy-in because it allows them to kind of tap into that other part of them that they don't get to do that much. But the level of thinking, and it's Play-Doh and a Flipgrid video, and their stuff was amazing. But they were so into it.
I could see that helping me when I was, because I'd be like reading, we like just had textbooks. So I'd be reading the textbook like, you can't even make a picture in your mind of what they're talking about.
Right. And so for them, and then like as they were building it, then I would walk around and I would say, okay, well, what's happening here? And they would explain. I'm like, well, that's not quite right. Let's revisit that. So before they filmed, they would kind of map it out. It was that was one of my favorite things that we get to do with Flipgrid for sure.
That's so cool. And like Flipgrid's owned by Microsoft. If teachers are not out there using it, all of us highly encourage you to use Flipgrid. It's truly amazing what you can do in terms of like giving students voice, especially the ELA classroom science, STEM. And now they have augmented reality features where like you can have them scan a QR code and the video's like coming out of the wall. Truly amazing what you can do with it. Flip hunts. Have you done any flip hunts?
No.
That's what I challenge you to do next. You got to get on the flip hunt.
I'll have to write that down. On my list. Put it on my
Now,
list.
have you, flip hunts would be so cool
Yeah.
where you can kind of do like different places in the world. It's pretty much like a scavenger hunt in the classroom, and I haven't done it yet. Once I do one, I'll let you know. Have you done GimKit yet? We told you need to get on GimKit.
That I have it scheduled for next week, but I have not done it. I haven't created it, but I actually wrote that in. Like, this is my thing for next week.
You knew you were coming.
So,
That's why
I was like, I better do my...
We hold you to a very high bar
Yes.
here. You know,
We do.
we expect you to do
I've been
this,
in a lot
this,
of
and
trainings so far this year, so I needed to find a time where...
Well, I
was in
will
there.
say that's the thing though is you are brave enough to try things. Like that is
Too brave, I think, because I'll like decide like 5 minutes before they come. Oh well, we're doing it, and I'm like, well, I have to set that thing up that I just said that.
That's okay. That's how we know
Nailed
that
it.
feeling.
Nailed
Yeah.
it.
But I mean, I love that because there's things that we learn all the time, and we go to all kinds of conferences and trainings and all that, and there's things that you mean to, but if you don't like really make yourself go back and just say like, let's just do this,
Right.
like let's give it a try.
Right.
Even Danelle, she did. Did she do Quizlet
Quizlet
Live?
Live.
And in the middle of it, she's FaceTiming. She's like, "Can you FaceTime me right now? This is not working. I need help." So, but she committed to that day, and we worked out the kinks, and it was all good. But it's being willing to be brave enough to say, "Okay, let's go with this and see."
And I
what
think
we
last
get.
year my kids really saw that because they saw like the before and after.
Yeah.
It was like a Weight Watchers. Like they saw like I was like we were not doing any tech, and then it was like they were basically knew like, did you go to that class yesterday? Because all of a sudden it's like coming out of nowhere. So
well, we love your kind words. We actually did our Google certified trainer. We're like I'm grabbing this quote, and like we just did identical quotes from you. So your kind words mean so much to us.
So much, yeah.
Now I feel like, not to stigmatize ELA teachers, but I feel like a lot of ELA teachers like to play it safe. Where did your roll the dice, I'm gonna take a risk with this? Where did that come from as a teacher?
I think
No disrespect to ELA teachers.
I think it comes from two things. One, when I try something and it really works and you can see it in the kids, and then I want to do that again. And then two, if I'm bored, then I know the kids are bored. So Like, I'm just not a lecturer. I teach with the workshop model, so I talk for about 7 minutes a period, and the kids actually sit on the floor. It is like going back to little kid, they come listen for 7 minutes, and then they go off and they go, practice or be writers, be readers. But I think that just, I also grew up with, technology was different then, but I grew up with teachers that took risks. So I think that
That's awesome.
to be that, to be like them, I wanted to give that to my kids, what they gave to me.
Now, one thing I don't think we ever really talk about enough is there like one teacher that made like such a big impact on your life?
Yes. My fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Papsicki,
That is an
That's
awesome
a
name.
New Jersey name. Jersey name.
She put her name on the spelling test, so you had to get it right.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say it again?
Yeah, Mrs. Papsicki.
Can you spell it?
Yeah, Papscycki.
Solid.
Yes.
I love that
and
name.
I love her, and she's we're still Facebook buddies. And when I first started teaching, she mailed me like a poem that I wrote that she still had.
Wow.
And she mailed me like a book a book she had gotten from someone about teaching, like quotes and stuff like that. And she was just awesome because she really let us, and I think it's hard to tell like with methods when you didn't know back when you were a kid. I think we had the workshop model going on because I remember we could write what we wanted to. She was super nurturing and we learned a lot. And I remember one time we were all like falling asleep, so she's like, we're gonna run laps around the school. Like, she was just fun lady.
Yeah.
And it might have been snowing, but she was just, I just love her and I think about her all the time. And then I also had a bunch of really great college professors, and through the I Teach program, I had some really great teachers through that too. So
That's such
and
a
the way
cool
they taught our master's classes was how you would teach kids. So you could see what you'd get into and what you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So the ones that were doing like lecture style, you're like, and it's the ones who are having you design and figure things out.
Like you do such a great job on your Twitter page, like really conveying that. Like, I
agree.
love seeing the kids on the floor. I love seeing you down there with the kids, like doing all those cool things. It's truly inspiring to everybody. And we always say, me and Schofield, we're like, Cher's just killing it. I'm like, did you see what she posted today?
It's funny because I told them like we meet and then we learn like we're in a workshop group like adults would do if they were learning to write, and then you go off like Stephen King would go to Maine to write books. So then they'll say like, I'm going to Maine,
Maine's
and their Maine will be like the rocking chair or whatever. And they're like, I'm in
That's
Maine.
probably similar to Maine in some ways. Yeah.
A little hotter.
I feel insulted. Right now.
I just meant it's relaxing, right?
Stephen
It's calm.
King has barns in Bangor.
Yeah.
They're like the creepiest things.
I'm just
and,
like, don't come back with like your story having like 2 twin girls at the classroom door or something like that. 'Cause
Now, we've talked a lot about Twitter. Where did your love of Twitter come from, and how long have you been on Twitter?
Okay, teacher Twitter.
Teacher
probably
Twitter.
like 3 years.
That's all we'll ever address.
Yeah.
No one will find me.
Sheer happiness.
There might be from teacher Twitter 3 years, and at first it was just to like I was retweeting a lot, and I think our district all of a sudden got into Twitter like all at the same time. Like our new superintendent was all over Twitter, and my principal got on Twitter, and so I think at first I wasn't following a lot, and then I've always been into like teacher blogs and Instagram, so then when I found them all on Twitter, I just get so many ideas from people because I'm departmentalized, so I'm the only 6th grade teacher at my school, but then like you have the whole world of 6th grade teachers, to talk to and learn from.
Truly, like we've been on Twitter for the last year, and like Dr. Finch, he's huge on Twitter, and I love what the district's doing. Like, it's so cool to see every night like what all these teachers are doing through the district, and
I love it.
The people that you follow around the world. Like, we've learned so many things. Just yesterday, I was like, you got to do this wind tunnel with a plane to get the plane to go for like 10 seconds.
I so want to do that too.
And you just learn so much from it, and I love we love what you're doing on Twitter. We love how you're sharing, taking things, and bringing it back in the classroom the next day.
Well, and then just even connecting that to, we were going to talk to you about your PLC, but it's like it's interesting because that's one type, and I think that that's a really successful PLC for the 3 of us that we all really utilize and benefit from. But then we wanted to kind of hear what your thoughts are about this new 6th grade PLC that the district is doing.
So I'm facilitating. I don't know how I
does
got
that
that job. I'm just kind of, we all really work together. So we're working together just towards common goals. We're analyzing data and seeing where, how we can make our kids successful. And what's great about that is being departmentalized, I really couldn't have named another 6th grade ELA teacher before. So it really is. I mean, I've seen them at trainings, but you're really there for something else. So we're using Google Meet. So we're all at our separate campuses.
Google apps.
Google, yep. And we are just collaborating, and it's really cool because we all teach very differently, but we're talking about the few things we can do similarly, so that we can, drive our kids and push push them towards their goals.
That's so awesome, yeah. And I didn't even know we were called facilitators. Deer Valley moved to this new model this year where, like, is it two months or 2 Fridays, the students get out at 2 o'clock, so it's not like a true half day. But then the most important thing for like teacher success and retention and the benefit for your kids is this time for PLC, and it's been awesome. So 2 Fridays a month, everyone's been able to get with their PLC. I'm with 5 STEM teachers, and I love working with them. We're kind of close enough where we all get together in person.
Should we say what a PLC is? I just
sure,
realized.
yeah.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead.
Finish your thing.
So PLC is your professional learning
Community.
Community. At the same time,
I was letting you do it.
I was like, well, I was thinking PLN for a second. I was like,
We have a lot of acronyms in the teacher world.
Yeah,
Yes.
LOL.
I just learned a new one today. SKSK. I was like, I still don't even know what
Is
that
that
means.
Visco?
Yeah. See, it's like you got to stay up with these things.
Yeah.
And even the kids couldn't. I don't know if they were afraid to tell me what it was, but I didn't get a clear explanation.
I feel like I got an explanation, but I feel like there's some things being omitted, and I'm okay with that.
I can't tell if they all know really what it is. I think
Something
it's
scrunchies
there's
on
hydro flask is involved. I don't know. There's
I don't
stuff.
know.
Yeah, we're real hip.
So it's our new PLC, and I kind of lead our STEM teachers. We get together, work. It's truly amazing. I've loved the model. I know there was some pushback within the district where it was going to go from Wednesday to a Friday, and it's so cool, like what people are doing, like throughout the district. Like you said, like you wrote something on Twitter. You're like, I love Mrs. Langford, and Schofield got excited.
I love
It's just
Kathy.
Yes.
She's
just that
awesome.
opportunity
She is
to
so
like.
sweet. She'll just email me like, "You're great."
Well, you know what, though,
thank you.
But I think that's so important. And the
It
last
is.
podcast when we were talking about just the community that uplifts you as a teacher, it is so nice to have that connection with other teachers because, especially you and Kathy and all the other people, you're all teaching 6th grade, and there's a commonality there, and there's certain struggles that you guys can really relate to one another. And she is so uplifting and so like nurturing, and that's so helpful, and we all need that kind of, especially being so isolated with what you teach, and it's just such a gift to have that kind of connection.
And I think it is important for attention because I was thinking like back when I was like my first few years, it was like, who do you go to with this?
Yeah.
And I was lucky because our social studies teacher was the ELA teacher, and she just moved over so she has helped me so much. But I was wondering, what do people do when they really can't? There's no one to connect with, that's teaching your same. It's a little different in high school because usually you have a group of people doing the same thing, but in middle school and upper elementary, it's just you.
It is, and when I first started, I would go to the trainings because there was new digital textbook and then the Gizmo simulation things. So I'd go to these trainings. But you're right, that's not what you're there for. So I would like kind of at the end be like, hey, can you guys talk to me about resources? Like, what are you guys doing for this, and this? And I would quickly try and gather stuff just because I needed that, like the ability to talk with other people. I wish that there were more people that I love your model where you guys get to meet physically, and I know you guys did just that one time because I saw you come. I feel like you were on campus one day. I don't know, maybe it was just a mirage and I just was thinking about you in a different way.
But we did at our initial one. We had to be.
Oh yeah, that's right because that's where I saw you. But I would love to be able to meet in person. It's tough to make that happen, but
You're a people person.
I am. I love people.
That's your gift and it's your curse.
That's how I would do it. But I'm like, I don't feel like everyone wants to.
No, I know, and it's tough, and we're spread out enough, and it would be really, and we'd lose some of that
duty,
time.
I'm in a mountain somewhere, so.
Yeah. I mean, that part
now,
is
West
tough.
Wing, is it K8 or K6?
It's a K8.
It's a K8, that's what I thought.
If you, just when you look at the school, like when I went for my interview, I was like, is this a college?
It is huge. It really is.
Ginormous.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, yep. And it's like in a mountain, so like sometimes you get cell service, sometimes you don't get cell service.
That's a fun thing. That's kind of like us day to day. We don't know what we're going to get.
Our phones in the air.
Walking around. Can you hear me now?
The kids think we purposely created the school so that they could not go on. You know what I mean? They think that. I'm like, I don't think
if
that
they
would.
did, that was pretty brilliant.
Genius. But now I let them use their phones.
Talk about a little about your PLC. You're a facilitator as well. Good thing Sheer told us we're facilitators.
I actually knew that.
According
you
to
did?
the,
Okay.
according to the Google Doc.
So I too am collaborating. I think so. There's 4 of us, and I am with someone at West Wing, and what are we? West Wing. I am really
I have
bad.
West Wing, Sierra Verde, Norterra, Canyon, Legend Springs.
Oh no, Stetson Hills is the
Stetson
other one
Hills,
for
Stetson
us
Hills.
because I have 8th grade,
Eighth
so
grade,
that's
yeah,
why. So and it's awesome, but it is limiting because of the meet time or the Google Meet. But I love the idea of all coming together with like a common goal and kind of talking those things out. I think the potential for it to grow is we've only met
Twice outside
and
of
I wasn't able to join the last one. So, I think the potential for it to be really awesome is there.
No, the biggest thing is going to benefit kids and teachers, and like you said,
100%.
like I love the story you shared about like already knowing these people, and like you're building that network, and you have this like support, and you're already sharing these resources, and just like you're saying, like you would never get an email just telling you how awesome you are out of the blue from Mrs. Langford, and
well, it's like we'll all email each other just to update like on like what we're doing this week, or so it's all very business, and then she'll just email like, you're doing a great job. And I'm like, thank you very much.
She's just so sweet. Well, and the nice thing is you may inspire one of them to try something different and vice versa. Like maybe you'll pick up something that you're like, oh, I love that they did that.
For sure.
And so it kind of allows you guys to kind of share styles. How you were saying you're all very different, but each person
It is, and it's really important because when you look at data, you'll see like all of our schools are very similar. Like they put us in groups with like similar, like kind of similar areas. But you'll see in data like Sierra Verde will do really well in this one standard, and West Wing will do better in this other. So we're kind of getting to how can we make all. We see the kids as all of our kids. Like how can we all
That's great.
raise the bar for them, and it's been really helpful. And it's only been 2 times, so.
Wow. I think Sheer needs to be the poster child for the PLC community. Like,
So if you
Add
want
that
to
on
that
my
sound
calendar.
bit, yeah.
I'll put that on my Google Calendar.
Yeah, so she's open for commercials and any kind of promo spots that you need for a
That's
small
awesome.
fee.
I couldn't agree more. And like, that's what we were hoping like we were going to talk about, and like the benefits, and it's truly amazing like what this new PLC model is and how it's going to impact kids. And already right here, you just heard the 3 of us, how it's really impacted us as teachers and bringing it back in the classroom the next day. Now, as we think about the year coming up here, what are your big BHAGs? BHAG is your big, hairy, audacious goal.
Oh.
What are you going to step out on a limb and try this year?
Ooh, I would really like to get my students' writing published. So I'm taking the best of I want every kid's writing to be published. So I'm taking the best of what they're doing throughout the year. Some of them might be narratives, some of them might be arguments. Also, I went to a problem-based learning workshop yesterday, so now I want to do that right away, and that takes a lot of planning, so I can't just be like, Monday, we're starting. But there's one that I'm really interested in where they would find out what it takes to open your own restaurant, and they actually have opened a restaurant at Barry Goldwater High School.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of talking to those students that work there. My husband's cousin, which I never know if I should just say my cousin. I'm still in that first 2 years thing. She works for the health department, so she gives like the letter ranking. So I want her to come in.
You want her on your side anyway.
Oh,
so
yeah.
right away.
No, it's kind of, we go out like with them a lot, and she'll be like, oh, we don't want to go there. And I'm like,
what do you
You're
know?
like, that was my favorite
I just ate there last night.
like, I'm not feeling so good.
So I feel like that would be something really cool, like just designing their own restaurant, because there's a lot of social studies, like what kind of food is popular in this area, what kind of culture is here. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of engineering, all that, and I want to bring I think what's great about ELA is I can find ELA standards and all of that. So I want to, that would be my big thing, I think. Just getting the design out. And,
that's so awesome. Now, do you do Twitter is always popping up, like writing competitions? Do you do things like that?
Yes, I enter them, or I try to get as many of them to want to. Unfortunately, I think writing, if you were like, what's your least favorite thing? Like, I think 90% of the kids coming in will say writing. So it's hard for them to build up that confidence, because some of them are really, really talented writers, but they don't have the confidence in writing. And I think a lot of the times we try to push them to write a certain way, when really their voice shines through, when they do it their own way. So I try to get them, as many of them as possible, to enter competitions.
That's so
and
cool.
they a lot of them will do that. I have a lot of writers on Twitter, and I like to share their processes, because like if you follow writers, they'll say like, I got to my 1,000 pages today, so I got like 3 Skittles, and so I have them put like sticky notes in their notebooks, like if I get to here tonight, like I get a Skittle or whatever they want, So yeah, just I think that's the other thing about Twitter, is just like that's what inspires me to take, to bring them to new heights, kind of, because you can follow authentic, not like just writing, but writing teachers, but writers, and they can see like this is how people are working, getting things done. And
don't you think though, when they're young, that they see them, it's like very much like art, like all these little kids, they're all artists, and all these little kids, they all write stories, and then it's like
the magic
something,
yeah,
and then someone told them along the way, like this is how it should be, or this is what you write about, and I feel like they lose their voice, because both of my kids used to write like crazy. I mean, they would write these amazing stories, and they did it for just the joy of it.
Yes,
and it's like, I feel like right around middle school, they have to rediscover that joy. They have to be able to write, for an academic purpose as well. But I do think that it's important for them to kind of fall in love with that.
Something I do is I hold off on like visible grades for as long as I can with writing, because I don't want, because when you have to use, I do have to use like a rubric for certain types of writing, but I don't want them to attach that onto their, same thing with like their reading level, because then they say my level is this, and really it's like a book's level is that, your level, So I do try to hold off on the visible grade for them until I've talked to them, sat with them, really worked it through with them, where they see, why, and because I think like the grade will really be a bummer sometimes to the kids, and then they just are like, well, for the year, I'm done with writing. And
I even do that with for these projects. I said, I'm going to go through, and I'm not going to grade them. I'm going to give you feedback, and if I feel like you need to revisit something, I'm not giving you a grade. I'm telling you, revisit this, let's talk about it, and then we'll sit down together and kind of until you can be successful.
Yeah.
Now, have you thought about like using Google Sites at all? Have you used Google Sites at all for like the students to like create like a portfolio or like a website?
That's what I want to do this year for their portfolio, for their conference portfolios and their data. We're not one-to-one, so you have to schedule when they're, what I mean? So I have to schedule the lab, it works out great because it's like right across the hall for me. So usually I can, but sometimes the way my brain works is like, I want to put this in right now, So I have to like slow myself down and plan, because when you have a binder, the one plus side to that would be like, right now we can put this in your binder. You know what I mean? But there's so many more benefits to the technology, so I want to really use that.
So basically you're saying you're handcuffed by not being one-to-one.
Love it. Well, and listen to this.
I'll say it for you.
Yeah. And if it's right across
I understand
the hall,
why. I mean, it's a financial...
you could just bring them over, and then if someone shows up, you're like, this is awkward for you.
I do that sometimes.
Because then they have to be that person to make you leave, which everybody would just look at them really sad. Just think about it. I like spontaneity. I think it'll be fine.
Well, and I think Google Sites will be great, because now they're doing all of their like on-demand writing pieces on Google Classroom. So I think it'll be easy to bring the docs over to the sites. Otherwise, I'd be printing all that. It's not as much.
That's our next challenge for you. That's our next challenge for you.
Yes, I will take it on.
Well, we're so proud. This has been such a blast. You promised to come on again.
Anytime.
We need a recurring role for sheer happiness on here.
That's right, sheer happiness stories.
And she started off the day like she just came right in. She was walking around campus. I was looking for you, and she came in, dropped the sheer happiness story. Angie Schultz was my first principal in Glendale Elementary School District, and then Sheer was like, I'm going on a podcast today, and then Schultz just said, are you going on the Nailed It wall? And it was just like me and Schofield were so excited.
It was like the number one podcast that she could have, it was like the first podcast it was so great. I was like,
awesome.
Yes.
That's right.
So we're so excited, and just we're so happy, and just think about that world. And Sheer was like, I can't believe there was a connection to Angie, who's only been in the district for a couple years, Angie's amazing. I'm so glad Angie knows about the Nailed It wall. And that was the first thing you said. What was the podcast that you said? in
Oh, I
reference-
was like, I should have
This
said,
American Life.
I should have said no. I'm going on This American Life, because she wouldn't have been more impressed. She was most impressed about this, so I was like, all right, I made it big time. I made the big time.
That's right.
There's the
That's right.
bar. Well, thank you, Sheer
Thank
Happiness.
you.
This was
Thanks,
an
guys.
absolute
It really
blast,
was.
and I can't wait until we do it again.
Yep.
I'll be back.
If you're like us and can't get enough of the Nailed It Wall, you can follow us on Twitter. You can find me at Mr. Lane the STEM Guy.
And me at a positive proton.
And me at Miss Sheer Reads.